Hi guys, thanks for tuning this episode of the Nick Egan Times. On this episode, we have an awesome guest. We have three times world karate champion Elisa Au. Elisa is the most decorated American karate athlete of all time. Elisa is the only female athlete in the history of the sport to claim gold medals in two individual events at the same world championship back in 2004. Welcome, the karate champion Elisa, and thank you for coming on my podcast.
Thanks for having me, Nick.
Welcome. How's it all been going over there?
Uh, Everything's been going well. Despite the challenges we've had these past couple years with the pandemic, things are going as well as they can be. Life is moving on, so we're doing okay.
How has the pandemic affected you personally and professionally?
Wow. I've gone through waves of emotions and challenges and gratitude. In the beginning, not sure what was going on, just staying in place and isolated from everyone. I had started a job the month before the lockdown. So I'm grateful that I was able to keep my job. I was able to move fully remote. So I've been working remote since then. This is my home office. And so that's been going really well. On the karate side of things, I was still competing, trying to make it to the Tokyo Olympic Games, and we had our last chance qualifier in Paris that was scheduled for um May. It was scheduled for, right when the pandemic hit. And so it was tough. They had to postpone it a year. That messed with my training. It messed with my ability to have training partners on a consistent basis. So on the athlete side of things, on the competition side of things, there was definitely an effect. But on personal and professional side of things, was able to make the most of it.
Fantastic. All right, let's just jump straight into it. Tell me about your family, your life, growing up, and obviously how the karate journey began for you.
Yeah. So I grew up in Hawaii. And when I was 5 years old, I brought home a flyer, for karate classes, and it just happened to be across the street from my house. So my parent, I apparently came home very excited to try karate classes, and my parents said, okay, fine, well, it's what she wants to do. So I started at the local YMCA. It just so happened that this local YMCA was home to a premier karate school in Hawaii, if not the US. The sensei came from Japan. He was an all Japan champion. His name is Chuzo Kotaka, and he's been my sensei ever since. So I was just lucky to, first shot to land with a really incredible sensei. From there, I stayed with him, until through my teens and into my early adulthood. I won my world championships under his training, and then when I was in my mid 20s, I decided to move to Chicago. So I've been in Chicago since 2007. Continued to train and start my own karate business here in the Chicagoland area. And so that's what I was up to for the past 15 years. I've left that. And now I'm doing a new project where I'm doing a martial arts school in the state of Montana. So lots of moving around, and all in the world of karate. So that's what I've been doing. A 2 minute quick run through of what I've been doing throughout my life when it comes to karate.
Incredible. All right, we'll go into more detail about certain parts of that. It's obviously amazing how talented you are, especially being an athlete and doing karate. Um, Tell me in more elaborate terms, I guess, the process of the karate journey you've had.
Sure. So, in the beginning, it was just a fun thing. But like I said, I had a really incredible sensei who had generations of athletes already older than me who were doing national championships and things of that nature. So it was kind of embedded in my mind at an early age that I would go on to do nationals, wanting to become a national champion. As soon as I went to nationals and saw what was there, I realized there was something beyond that. There was a world championships or Pan American championships. So I got really excited about the world championships in my early teens. And so I was doing well on the US scene and made the junior national team. And I was able to go to, junior Pan American championships, junior world championships when I was about 14 to 16 years old. So that was really exciting. And then from there, I had a very clear idea about the world championships for seniors, and I would be eligible to do that when I was 18. So, I'd have to win nationals and be able to get on the US senior team that would go to the world championships. So that was always on my mind. Like I said, I had people older than me at my dojo who were doing that. So they were kind of the trailblazers for me, and leading the way. And what I was able to do though is once I went to the world championships, I was able to win it, which was the first time for a woman. So there had been one male athlete who won back in 1980, and then there was a drought. And then me and my teammate, who I trained with in Hawaii, actually won it the same year in 2002. He's a male, and I was the first female. So that was a big step for USA Karate as a whole, that the two of us from our club in Hawaii were able to become world champions.
Wow, that's incredible. That's just amazing. Um, what what has karate taught you as a person?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I owe so much of my work ethic and drive in life to karate. Just at a very young age, the discipline that it instills in you, just, always pushing your body just a little bit more than you think you can. There is that like very rigidness, almost militaristic element to it, and so for some people, they don't like it, and for others, it works really well. It really forges a strong mind, allows you to do more than you think you can do. So, imagine those punches and kicks that you see in the movies. If you just do that repetition over and over again, it really pushes you to beyond what you think you can do, and I've been able to carry that into other things in life. So, not only physical things, like just being able to accomplish something if I set my mind to it. And karate's kind of been that base for me. If I could do it in karate, I can do it in other things. And that doesn't always make sense, but that's how my mind works, is that if I was able to do it in karate, I'm able to do it in other aspects of life.
Tremendous. What's the best piece of advice you've received?
I'm sorry?
What's the best piece of advice you've received?
Oh my goodness, best piece of advice I've received. I guess it would be from my dad. My dad always is, full of advice. Not to quit. And, I mean, that it taken into context, not to quit. Like when you believe in something, when you believe that you can do it, and that, don't be deterred by people telling you you can't do something, by trying to, discourage you from giving it your all. So if you know you're destined to do something, you have the opportunity to do it, then never give up, and go all the way with it.
Awesome. What for the younger generation and people that are interested in taking up karate that are listening, what advice would you give them, and what would you suggest a way of obviously going through it in the process?
Yeah, so I mean, karate is it's become so the skill level just continues to grow generation by generation. It's one of those sports where it's relatively young, in the sport aspect of it, and martial arts has been around for generation years, but sport karate is relatively, young, and so you see the generations just improving tremendously. So, these athletes are just getting better and better. And one thing I would suggest to young athletes is to have fun with it. Don't get like so serious so young, and so specialized. Like maybe do other sports. Consider karate as a way to improve yourself in other sports as well. So if you're, a soccer player, or some other type of, team sports, karate could definitely help you to enhance your skills in that area. It's just there's a good balance, when you're young, to do multiple sports. And then when you get to the age of maybe like 16 and older, you can start specializing a little bit more, and really giving all your effort to one sport.
Awesome. What what I guess on your professional side from going to karate, what has that really what have you gained from that? Like what have been the I guess the best things that have come out of that?
Yeah, one of the things I always talk about, that I feel karate has helped is this like sense of being able to lead. by example, lead groups of people. And maybe that's not just karate training. That's maybe that is also my experience as a karate instructor. So I started assisting as an assistant instructor at a very young age, like 10 years old. I was already helping, other kids in class. By the time I was like 15 or 16, I was running beginner classes of my own. So I've been teaching karate for a long time. And then, when I moved to Chicago, owning my own martial arts schools, definitely taking that leadership role. And that's really helped me in the business world. There's a lot of skills that I feel are natural to me at this point that are not natural to other people who have not had that experience. So I'm able to translate that and teach that to others. And help them with their position as a leader in their company. So if they're a CEO, any type of manager or supervisor, sometimes they need those skills to be a better leader, and I can help them with that given my karate background.
Wonderful. What? Tell me about your DVD series.
Oh, my DVD series, I did it a while ago, back in 2005. It was a lot of fun to go to Hollywood and shoot it. But it was a great experience. And back when DVDs were all the rage, it was a nice, like thing to have, like an actual tangible thing to be able to share with the world. Um, it's a little bit with the times, with everything being digital in the cloud now, a little bit less, important or relevant. But I think the content in it is still good. And I would love for more people to have access to that content. Another thing I'm thinking about in the future is having a book, is writing a book. That's just another way I can, leave my legacy, if you will, or just, share my ideas and my learning with others. And that's really like I'm passionate about, is helping other people, sharing what I've learned and with other people, so that it doesn't just stick with me, that it can be passed down to others. So that's kind of on my radar for a future project.
Yeah, for sure. You're an inspiration, obviously, winning, and you're a winner. So yeah, you definitely can offer the younger generation and people that are even interested in just learning about the industry and what you've achieved. It's definitely something that I believe you can really help a whole generation with. Um,
Thanks.
what do you like to do in your spare time?
Ooh, spare time. I don't have a lot of spare time. I have two kids, and my two kids have a lot of activities and things that they are very interested and passionate about. So I do a lot of things with my kids. They like arts and crafts. They like doing, outdoor activities. So I'm doing a lot of things with them. I travel a lot because I both am a business advisor, which is all, Zoom here in my home office, but I also go to Montana and work on that project with the dojo there. So a lot of traveling. Even before that, I traveled for karate. So travel is a big passion of mine. COVID's kind of slowed that down. I'm hoping that we can get back to, pre-pandemic levels of freedom to travel the world and see it. And I'd love, as my kids are older now, to bring them with me and help them or show them the world and let them explore and see it through their eyes. So travel is a huge thing for me. And then also, I guess because I've traveled so much, I really, really enjoy food, food from around the world. So I try to make it in my own house. I try to explore. Like, I like to try new things, when it comes to cuisine.
Amazing. Tell me about the Olympic journey. I was watching a video, obviously, of that, and yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I have two kids, so I had stopped competing back in 2010, and I thought I was done. I thought I was just going to teach, coach, do that sort of thing. But then karate made it into the Olympic Games in 2020, and maybe a lot of people don't realize that karate is not in the Olympic Games as a core sport, but it was in the Tokyo Games. So I had a great idea back in 2016 or 17 that I would make a run at the Olympics. So after not competing for 7 years, I decided to start competing again. And I actually did pretty good in the beginning. I won my first US Open tournament, feeling really
Wow.
good. And then a year later, I tore my ACL. And that was the first time I had ever had a major injury, ever. So it was a huge blow. So it was a series of setbacks after that. But, I pushed through, recovered, got back. To be quite honest, didn't feel the same. But I pushed through anyway. And I got on the US team that went for this like last chance qualifier, if you will. It was like the last step to make it to the Olympics. And that was the one that was in Paris, and it was supposed to be in May of 2020 and got pushed back to June of 2021. So I did that tournament, but that's where my journey ended. I did not qualify at that Paris event. But I don't regret the process. It's not the storybook ending that I thought I would have in terms of the Olympics, but I'm glad that I did it because I knew myself. I knew that if I just sat back and watched other people try for the Olympics, I would be, just feeling awful the entire time and just, wanting to get out there and do it myself. So I'm glad I did it. Disappointed that I didn't make it, but that's not, really, I can truly say now that it's all said and done that that wasn't that important. It was more that I did it, that I went through the process. So I went through that. Olympics obviously were this past summer, and then I decided to just stick around for one more championship. It was the World Championships in Dubai, so I did that in November, and now I'm retired again from karate competition.
Well, you've had an incredible journey. You've already won many times anyway. So yeah, yeah, you should be extremely proud, and that just shows the discipline and determination you have as a human being for really pushing through and going. Everything is an experience and you learn. So yeah, it's incredible what you've achieved.
Yeah, thank you.
And what is your favorite foods? You said you love food. What is your favorite foods?
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so much good food out there. Coming from Hawaii, we're really a melting pot, but there's a strong emphasis on really good Asian food. So I can't decide between, you know, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Like I love it all. So I am half Chinese, so growing up, and having those big, amazing Chinese dinners, 7-course dinners, I remember that. But then I really love Japanese food, so I don't, I couldn't pick one thing, but Asian food. If I had to say one thing, it's Asian food.
Well, you love traveling. Where's your favorite place to travel or favorite places you've been?
Oh, that's another good question. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. So I really like Japan because, just there's a lot of excitement. It's that kind of mix of like traditional and modern. I really like that. But then again, I love going to places like Italy, Spain, and I really want to explore more. Like I want to see more of the natural beauty in the world. So I'd love to go to Iceland, Norway, Alaska, things like that as well.
Awesome. What and you were saying you got current and future projects. What do they look like? Can you share them?
Yeah, so I'm a business advisor, which I really like doing because it gets me out of that karate world, if you will, and I'm able to share my expertise doing advising with small business owners. So I work with all different small business owners, um, industries, all different industries, you name it. I work with them, and it's really fulfilling to be able to impact them in a positive way. But on the karate side, I do have the dojo in Montana that I'm working on, and also I'm part of the World Karate Federation's athlete commission. So it's a commission of a handful of athletes from around the world who help drive the sport forward. And one of the things I'm tasked with, one of my main projects, is trying to push karate for the LA 2028 games. So that's a big passion project of mine. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult, No one said it was going to be easy, but we would love to see karate in the Olympic Games as a core sport eventually. And this would be one step towards it, is to get it back in the games in 2028. So unfortunately, we're not in the games in Paris in 24. So we'd like to get back in the games in 2028.
Well, I'm sure it'll definitely work out with you helping facilitate that.
Hope so.
If you were 18 again and you could change anything in your life, what would you change?
Ooh, I don't like to like I don't want to say I regret anything. So I don't have any regrets. If I were to have a different experience, hmm. I would like to experience living outside the US. That would be a really beneficial or enriching experience for me, I think, and probably at a younger age, like in your 20s. I've lived in the U.S. my entire life, most of it in Hawaii, and the past 15 years in Chicago. So most of my adult life in Chicago. And I would like to, I love traveling, but I've never experienced actually living outside of my country. So that would be a really really cool thing if I could do that.
Yeah, for sure. Have you been to Australia before?
I have. I went to Melbourne in 2005 and I loved it. I need to go back. I need to go back. I went there in like August. I'd love to go back, during your summer months
Yeah,
and see everything and explore more than just that one city. Although Melbourne was beautiful, I'd love to see Sydney and more of the country.
yeah, for sure. That's where I am. So yeah, when you come down one time,
Okay.
we'll catch up.
Okay, great.
Um,
Love it.
where does Lisa see herself in 10 years' time?
Where do I see myself in 10
Yeah,
years?
where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Ooh, I would love to be continuing to be a difference maker and a driver in the sport of karate, both at a national level in the U.S. and international level. The sport has given so much to me that I'd love to give more back to it. Um, right now it's not what pays the bills, uh, but it is a passion of mine. So if I can make that work, I'd love to continue to give back to karate in any way I can. Um, I've always been a natural entrepreneur, so I will be doing some sort of business, something in the world of business. That's what I will be doing until the day I die. I probably won't retire in the traditional sense. Um, but hopefully I won't be working as hard. That would be nice.
Awesome. Sounds like there could be jobs for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elisa, thank you for coming on my podcast. I do appreciate it. You've had an amazing journey. Your journey is obviously only going to get better, especially with the business side of things. And yeah,
Mhm.
thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great. It's been fun.